Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird, a Blackbird's Brew. Happy Friday and welcome to Wicca 202. Today we're talking about planting your seeds. And if you've been following along with the Wicca teaching series for a while, you'll know that when I talk about planting seeds or using other such expressions, I never just have the literal application of the phrase in mind. Our spirits are also a soil of a sort, and the ideas, beliefs, and practices we plant in that soil eventually grows and manifest. And then we can evaluate if the soil of our souls has grown weeds or if it's produced something more worthwhile. Either way, it's an opportunity to learn. If we found that we have grown weeds, then either, we have failed to learn how to use certain information or how to harness particular traits and behaviors in a productive way, and we just have more lessons to learn, or is an indication that we filled ourselves with bad ideas that are impractical, detached from reality, and it's time we got all of that out of our system. And if we like the results we've gotten, then we have confirmation that we're onto something. The foundation is solid. We can carry on with applying ideas that are going to be beneficial to our lives. And this principle is true for how we pursue our careers, run our households, behave in relationships, and for our spirituality. Now, I grew up in a generation that tended to compartmentalize everything, but walking the witch's path, it has taught me how much one part of life affects another, and everything is impacted, and nothing is ever truly insulated from anything else. And I realize, this is pretty bad news for those of you who are in the broom closet and who are determined to remain there. But trying to keep your spirituality and your craft hidden from the rest of the world, that is going to have consequences for you, and it will limit your potential growth as a practitioner. It also requires you, I'm sorry to say, to engage in deception, whether you are, performing cooking magic, doing house cleansings along with your regular house cleaning, prosperity spells for your career, or using your intuition and or other capabilities to better understand your spouse, your children, your friends, or if you're having to, secret away all of your magical tools and symbols, keeping all of that hidden requires constant lying. Yes, lying. Most of all, and worst of all, it requires lying to yourself. The attempt to pass yourself off as normal and not a witch and to not stand out, it increases insecurities. It does not decrease it. And because you will always have to be on your toes, for fear you slip up, and you spend more time denying who and what you are than you do practicing what you claim to believe in. Here's more bad news. Most people, they're not as good of liars as what they believe themselves to be. And the people who do their best to hide away their true nature, they usually end up arousing suspicion, even if people can't quite nail down what's going on there. And that's because even, the so-called normies have their measure of intuition, and they can tell if someone's energy doesn't quite match up with the image they're trying to project. Even if they can't fully articulate why, they will still sense it and they will trust that impression. So the harvest of all of this involves either forever living with this fear of exposure or actually being exposed and possibly facing the important people of your life being rather angry with you, not necessarily because of what you believe in practice, but just because you lied to them. Or you could find yourself in a position in which your potential as a practitioner is dwindling away through disuse until the idea of being a witch is just, a dream you once had, and it's not a real or proper description of your abilities and skills. It happens. And that's just one example of why it matters the kind of seeds you are planting within your soul and within your life. Seeds are always being planted, and it matters what kind, what sort are being nurtured, which ones are weeded out, and what ultimately comes to fruition. Cause and effect. We are not above it, and we are not accepted from it. We are fully subject to cause and effect. And we're at the beginning of the planting season for the garden, so this is the ideal time to really reflect and to make conscious decisions about what it is we want to grow, both literally and metaphorically. And this is also the halfway point of the Wicca teaching series. From the beginning, these videos were meant to appear on a weekly basis over the course of 3 years. And here we are in the middle of Wicca 202. So considering the question of whether or not practicing the craft is what someone really wants is not only relevant, but it's absolutely necessary. As you've taken in knowledge, seeds have been planted. Have those seeds been watered and nurtured, or have they been left alone? Have you begun to manifest results in your life, or have you failed to apply your knowledge? Whatever the answers to those questions, you need to know those answers. You don't have to tell me or anybody else, that doesn't matter. But you need to know for yourself, so you can decide whether to continue on with your studies or if you need to move on to something else. Plant your seeds in accordance with your own nature and your desires and take care of them. That's the task of the season, and that's the task of everyone exploring their spirituality, whether that spirituality involves Wicca or not. So, our homework for March 24th through March 30th. Number 1, time to get out the looking glass and make an honest assessment of where you are in your studies, whether or not you've made practical application of your knowledge and what the outcome has been so far, and how you honestly feel about it. Number 2, set a goal. What is the next step you need to take forward? Right now, you have the perfect energy conditions due to this time of year to set some proper intentions and have the energy to follow through with them. Make the most of this opportunity. And 3, choose a plant to take care of and infuse the intention to use that plant as a measuring stick for your own progress. The state of the plant will be essentially acting as a reflection for the state of your spiritual health. And that will help you gauge, whether or not you're making spiritual progress, whether or not you need to make adjustments. Be sure to take care of both, because now it's not just you on the line. It's also you've infused this into another living creature. So, things to do, things to think about. I can't wait to hear the reactions to this. Any comments, questions, concerns, complaints, anything else of that sort, leave them for me in the comment section below, or come pay me a visit on Gilded. The server's name is Blackbird's Brew, and there's a link in the description box to join us, so I hope to see you there soon. But that'll do it for now, and I will see you next time. Bye.